lovely to have so many of you here for our first parents sort of webinar and briefing. We thought it would be useful just to try and have a few of these, try and communicate in a different way. As I mentioned in the newsletter, some of the parent feedback was around how it would be great to be able to get some key bits of information, both communicated with parents, but also then available after so that you can go back and refer to and check. So we've got loads of brilliant things on our website that I'm not sure people are aware of. So we'll signpost you to some of those bits. And it's also a chance today just to talk through. We're going to particularly focus on homework, but just a reminder that we have got a selection of upcoming other webinars. So please check your newsletter for the dates of those, because there's a number coming through. There's some targeted at specific classes. So there's year 4 and year 6 for their times tables check and their SATs. Year 1 and reception have got some phonics workshops coming up, and then there's more general ones. There's also some in-person things like, so behaviour is more general one that might be available online, and then there's the SEND one, which is generally a SEND coffee morning in school, and we do that in person because we get the external agencies like the communication and autism team and people like that to come along and support us in those meetings. We'll also have a head teacher's coffee morning coming up soon, but you don't have to wait for that. If you've ever got any issues, concerns, questions, just come and grab me or Mrs. Hoy on the playground. We try to have at least one of us there every morning and every afternoon, so there's a member of SL2 that's available for you if you've got any worries or concerns. Okay, I'm going to start by sharing. Let me just open my screen up a little bit larger. And I'm going to share. If I go for my PowerPoint. I'm hoping that you can see that.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. I'll probably just leave it in this. We don't have no fancy animations or anything. So just so we can talk through the slides and I can see what's coming up. Let me move it over. And then I can also see that I can admit people as we go through. Okay. So it's just a chance today to have a look through what we've got. So the things we're going to be particularly talking about is where you can find on our website what your child is learning about each theme. Just to give a bit of specific context about that, it might be a bit confusing with the themes because in Key Stage 1, we have 5 themes that are spread over the 6 half terms. And in Key Stage 2, we have 4 themes that are spread over the 6 half terms. I appreciate that sounds counterintuitive. The reason for that is the length of themes the length of half terms and terms rather changes every year. So the dates of the start of the year to Christmas and then particularly Easter moves around by up to a couple of weeks each year. So rather than fixing to that and then suddenly having to cram things in, we just say, this is our learning, and then we spread that over. So theme 1 in Key Stage 2, we've got quite a big chunky half term here. So roughly each theme's about 9 weeks long for Key Stage 2. So they'll have this half term and then 2 or 3 weeks after the next half term. And then you'll start to get letters about theme 2 and you'll get that email sent out. And hopefully you got that email on Friday where you got the theme overview and the class newsletter as well. So we send those class newsletters out termly, and half at the start of each new theme for your child, we'll send you a copy of their learning. So as I say, everything is on our website, and in a second I'll open that up, but you can just see here, if you go to Watermill, you go to parents, children rather, and then within children you'll be able to click on the class pages, and the class pages are there. So if I stop sharing this screen, welcome along to everyone who's joining us. I'll go straight onto our website. Let me just open that up. Okay, and I'll see if I can share this screen with you. Gosh, I've got too many tabs open. Let's have a look. Share Windows. Let's go for our website. Okay, and hopefully you can see our website now. So if I just move you guys over to the side. So if we come on to children, you can see class pages. Can anyone let me know if you can see that?
Can't.
No, it's just showing everything.
Oh, sorry. So it's not showing the web page at the moment.
No,
It's just a white screen.
Okay, I'll stop showing that, and then what I'll try and do is open that. I'm glad I checked. If I open that as a separate tab maybe, and I minimize that one over, and I'll try again. So I can always go to share my screen if it doesn't work, but I'll have one more go at this one. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
There
good.
we go. Better. Lovely. Okay, so here we go. It's just watermill.beham.sch.uk, and there is so much information on here. I'm just going to really quickly point out that everything the children learn in every year group is broken down on here. So we've got the overview for all of the subjects that are going on there. You may be aware as well that we support other schools. There's some like really historic things that have gone on there. And also when we provide training to other schools, there's some of the resources we share there. So if you want to geek out and see about EAL provision and obviously and things like that, you're welcome to have a hunt around. That's fine. Okay, so for reception parents this year, that bit there in Parents and Reception 2025 is hopefully a really useful page. And so I've put some bits on there, but it's also linked to on the class pages. So we'll start there. So just to show that for our reception parents, you've got lots of brilliant information about your class. Is this going to load for me? There we are. And then lots of ways you can support them, talking about phonics, all of the details about the themes, so what they're learning, and these are the copies that we sent out to you, the skills in each area, and then for the homework, that just links back to that Reception 2025 page. At the bottom down here, you've got the homework overview and the optional homework. I'm going to try and not go too fast. We go again, so it's class pages. And if we take, so this is the same for all of the year groups, but let's take year 2 as an example. So we talk about the things that they need, and then as we scroll down, so this is really helpful here, so you can see what your children's learning, all the things that your children are learning. So I won't open those up now, but you can see there's documents within there that's that same overview that we emailed out to you, but also really helpfully you can know what does reading look like as a year 2 child? What should my sort of 7-year-old be able to do? And what should they be able to do in writing and their maths that's different to when they're in year 4? And hopefully that gives you a bit of a clearer overview of really where we're pitching them. Okay, so you've all had this overview document, and then you've got the optional homework ideas. I've got this in the PowerPoint, so I'll show it to you again in a second. But if I open this one up, can you still see that page?
Yes.
Brilliant. So there we go. So for every child, we sent these out on Friday, just an overview of some optional homework activities that you might want to do. Right, if we stop sharing that, and I'll come back to the PowerPoint so you know where we're looking on our website. So it's children, class pages, you go, oh, hang on, I'm not sharing that one, am I? I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. And that's got a red box. Lovely. So it's school website, class pages, and then we click onto one of the class pages and you'll be able to see the theme overviews, the assessment checklists, and the homework that's available for them there. Okay, welcome along to anyone who's just joining us. Okay, so just ask if you've got your mic on, if you could turn it off because we're getting a little bit of feedback. Thank you very much. Okay, so you've all had this out, and this is the key message. There's if there's anything that you do, if there's anything that you can find that time, I am a parent of 3 young children. I have a 2-year-old, a nearly 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and I know just how busy the evenings are. So if there's one thing you can prioritize, it's reading time above everything else. We never punish a child for not doing their homework. We appreciate how busy lives are. We recognize that it may be that your child is doing 1 million clubs after school and that they're really busy and they're doing all these things. Actually, they're having a really thorough and enriched time. And so it would be really unfair for them to have to also then sit and do additional things. What we do say is it's available, and we're really happy to offer the resources there because we know that some parents really appreciate it. Homework's always one that divides parents. Some parents are really passionate that they don't want it there because they see just how hard we work the children in school and they want them to have that downtime out of it. And some parents are desperate for more because they want their children to be really kind of academic and focused outside of school as well. So we try and give you a range of options so we can hopefully meet both sides of that spectrum. So within reading, in Key Stage 1, the children should be having phonics books and comprehension books. If you are not getting both of those, please speak to me and I will pester the teachers. I spoke to a teacher who said that they'd missed some of that sometimes last year. So apologies if there's something you hadn't had previously, but they should be getting both a phonics book and just like a reading for pleasure book, an additional book that they can just enjoy and maybe you could read to them. Specifically in reception at the moment, the children are settling in and we're just starting to teach them their reading skills through the phonics. So it will take a little while for those phonics books to come home, and that's maybe why they haven't had the reading diaries just yet. We will get the reading diaries out to you ASAP, and then the books will follow, but it might be closer to the end of the month because at the moment we're just getting an idea of where they are. And also, from experience of my own daughter going through reception and my son before, they're going to be really tired. We're going to be working them really hard when they're in school. For some of them, it's a significant step up to either the time they had in nursery or not being in nursery at all. And so it's important that they have that time outside school just to process that and be able to be a bit less formal. However, reading to them is going to make a massive difference. So if your child's just started in reception and there is one thing you really want to do to support them, just every night before bed, read with them. just if you can, there's the local libraries to get books. Just take the time to have a little bit of a read would be amazing. It will also hopefully help them settle a bit more easily for you at bedtime as well. And then hopefully by the end of September, we'll get those books out to you that you can be using. And in year 1 and year 2, we should be getting those coming home. Now, I've chased it, I think, and there's an issue with year 1's reading diaries going home. So I apologise. I've spoken to staff this morning and we'll get those out to you today. Okay, so then in year 1, you should be getting those phonics books and the comprehension. And then as we go older, the children have a choice of books that they can access themselves. We want to build a bit more independence with them in them choosing the books that they take and keeping a record in their reading diaries of the books that they've got. And then keep record of that, because we love to celebrate our readers. If I skim on down to here, so we want to really reward the children and actually the parents. It's your time, it's your effort really to make this work. So you can see the difference between Key Stage 1 here on the left and Key Stage 2 on the right. Just what's really helpful is if you keep a little track, kind of account in the margin of the reading diary, really helps if you can keep track of how many reads they've had. So they can get stickers and pencils and certificates and special mention in class celebrations and celebration assemblies across the school. So we're going to really recognise and celebrate that, and we really appreciate that hard work that you put in. And there's some guidance there. And you've had this document sent home to you. I think it's in the start of the reading diaries, but you've definitely had this shared with you. And if anyone would like another copy, I'm really happy to share that as well. Right, before we move on to anything else, does anyone have any questions about reading? You can either put your hand up, call out, or put it in the chat. I can see we've got someone with their hand up, number 1. Hello.
Not so much question regarding reading, but regarding the reading diaries, would we get a new one every year, or are we using the one from reception?
Yeah, no. So can I? So you're in year 1 at the moment, is that right?
Year 2. Year 2.
Year 2. Okay. I've sent a message out to all teachers today to make sure they've gone home. It's a really busy time at this time of year, so I apologise if there's been a delay. Every single child in school has a brand new reading diary that we're sending out, and if it hasn't gone already, I will pester them to get it out by the end of the day today, with the exception of reception, because we're still getting them kind of settled in, so that'll come to you by the end of the month. I'm making a note now.
Thank you.
Okay. Eventually, I'm going to really, so I don't want to be rude to your name, sorry. Evengia, you got your question? Oh, your hand's gone down. Nick, have you got your hand up? That's been up for a while, so that might just be an accident. Poppy?
Oh no, that's what one of our mums already said. It was just to say that we haven't had anything home for year 2 yet.
Okay, so have you had the optional homework that's come out and you've had homework set online? So you should be able to access the Numbots.
Oh yeah, we've got the Numbots from last year, but
Brilliant.
it's mention of all the reading books that have apparently been coming home. They haven't been coming home.
I apologise. I know specifically it was year 1 last year that weren't sending the additional one out with the phonics. So I have had words with staff and I will make sure that that's coming out to you. If you have any issues, come back to me because this matters and I want to get it right. And I know just how busy staff are in getting everything sorted, but I think it's important. So we'll happily kind of push it and make sure that that does happen, really. So if you don't get both in Key Stage 1, that phonics book and the comprehension book, once they've finished the phonics, they will then just have the comprehension book. Make sure you let me know and I'll chase it up. Okay, Rania?
Hi, just want to check about the Numpot. I asked a teacher, my son is in year 2. I asked him about the login IDs because I forget, to be honest with you. So I don't have his username or the passwords. Is it possible to be sent again? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your child's name?
Abdullah.
Abdullah.
In year 2. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yep, I'll make sure that comes out to you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Right, we'll start to talk about some of the maths and some of the Key Stage 2 homework then as we go on. Right, let's have a look. Jump back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so we've got here. So we've spoken about reading. Reading is my go-to, most important, really, really important to make sure you prioritise. If you can find time for some other bits, the children love Numbots and Times Tables Rockstars. We use them in schools. They have time, particularly year 3 and year 4, get really a really good chunk of time on Times Tables Rockstars. If your children are in year 3 and year 4, really push supporting their timetables. We want every child by the end of year 4 to be confident with every single timetable. You can be starting that in year 2 if you want to talk about things like repeated addition. So 2 2s is 4 and 3 2s is 6. But really, when we get into year 3 and towards the end of year 2, we really start to get like, let's see if we can have those facts to hand. We talk about automaticity, the idea that I've got it automatically. It's a big word, isn't it? But I've got it automatically, and that means I can focus my brain on, say, the calculation of the times tables that I'm doing, because I know that fact straight away. It's just so much easier for them if they've got it to hand. So times tables rockstars is really helpful, and Numbots for year 1 and year 2 provides just a really great solid foundation of understanding number, getting the idea of big numbers that are bigger and smaller, and place value, that if a number's got tens and hundreds, what the difference of kind of being in that space and those digits means. It's really valuable, and it will give them a really great start, and it's really great fun. The children love it. It's a brilliant website. We spend a lot of money on it, but it's worth it to give them those opportunities. But to make it the most worthwhile is going to come down to parents really engaging and using it as much as possible at home. So we really appreciate you just saying to children, it's I don't know, a Sunday afternoon and they were asked if they can have a bit of screen time, absolutely. Go and get yourself on Numbots. Go and get yourself on Timetables Rockstars. They'll have a great time, and they're doing something really productive and positive with that time, rather than just kind of scrolling through. So yeah, I can see a hand up.
Yeah, this is me, Nancy from Year 4.
Hi, Nancy.
So Timetable Rockstar is absolutely amazing. It is really helpful. And then my child is like, doing it almost every day or every alternative day. Just want to check, apart from, because Timetable Rockstar usually covers the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But apart from that, for example, the shapes, because he is also being educated about the shapes, different types of shapes, and then, the questions, extended questions around shapes. How can he do the practice at home about the shapes, and then, do all this kind of some tricky questions apart from, I don't know if it is available in Timetable Rockstar, but
yeah, that's like,
so far I haven't seen it.
Timetables Rockstars focuses on those foundational number skills to give them the ability to access the breadth of the curriculum that we're covering within school. So if I just have a look at the next slide here, have you come across Atom Learning yet? Have you got your login for Atom Learning?
Yes, I have. And then with Atom Learning, to be honest, it's a bit, I don't know, it's only me. I find it a bit difficult to just what to find out where I can find the content or material.
Yeah. So the thing with Atom Learning is, unlike Numbots, you can't just go on and log on and play. It's something that parents would have to pay for separately if they wanted a broader license, and you can get that if that's something you want to pay for separately. But the subscription that we've got as a school is one where we can just set the homework. So the teachers can go in and then they can say, right, I'm going to set 15 questions on, I don't know, shape, space, and measure, as you mentioned, and it starts at this time and goes through to this one. Teachers have been gone through and they've had time to kind of set those throughout this term, so they should be coming up and refreshing every week. If anyone, again, if you have any issues with those coming through, do let me know and I can chase them. I will mention to Miss Harrison specifically, it would be great to have that variety as well as the number within year 4. I'll keep a note of that so that Noel's teacher knows that, and we'll pass that on as well.
Thank you.
Lovely. Okay. So just to briefly mention that we do really celebrate that within school. We've got a big display because there's real kind of that breadth of knowledge and your shape and your statistics and your measure. That's really important to the curriculum. But our go-to is getting that solid understanding of what number is, how do I add, how do I take away, how do I times, and how do I divide? And this gives that really great foundation. So there's lots of certificates that go out every week. Mr. Baines prints off and sends out certificates to all the classes for people who've earned the most coins or got the most points. And then there's also a display in the hall and awards for the whole class that earn the most. So we really want to invest our time and effort into that, to give those children that solid foundation. Okay, so I'll come back to the optional enrichment activities that you've got. Just to point out, in year 6, our expectations do increase. The research around the impact of homework is a bit mixed in primary school. The thing that makes the difference is parents being really engaged and supportive. So you're all being amazing, and thank you so much for giving your time today to support us with this. The impact in secondary school, where the children are a bit older and able to take greater oversight of it, is stronger. So we want to make sure that the children being ready for secondary school are really confident and have built up a bit more kind of resilience and understanding of the increased expectation. So in year 6, the children get more homework. We've got these lovely CGP books, which are really focused. So the children are able to access those, and it might be that they have a decent block of reading comprehension to do or a decent block of maths, and again there'll be greater depth there as well. I can see a few hands up, so I'll go to Victoria first.
This is me. Hello, sir.
Okay.
How are you?
Hello, lovely to see you.
This
You're
is
right.
Wajhan from France. Yeah. I just want to know about the sports, whether it is inside or outside the school. The sport, this.
So are you talking about Atom Learning?
Yeah.
So Atom Learning is a website that you can access at home. So and the website's there for you. So the teachers set homework on it, and then the children, when they log on at home, can see the homework that's set for them, and they can access it there.
Okay. And one thing more about sports. The children they are doing, whether it will be inside the school or outside the school.
So
Sports.
sports.
Yeah.
So within PE lessons, that will be really dependent on the weather. So ideally, we'd like to have the children outside for their PE lessons. But if it's raining, if it's too cold, we purposely don't. Well, we really try not to multiple book so that the hall is available for them to go in if they need to. We design the curriculum so that things like when they're doing gymnastics, they do that in the colder months, so that when they're jumping across the horses or going along the balance beams, they can do that in the hall. But yeah, if it's cold, we'll have them in. If it's sunny enough and it's appropriate for the sport that they're doing, say they're doing tennis in the summer, we'll get them outside.
And one thing more about my children, as they came from France, so they're little bit weak in English. So is there any extra classes or something for them?
Yeah, so we're really, really proud of the really high quality EAL provision that we've got. What I'll do is, can I have a bit of a separate chat with you? Because there's quite a lot of detail to go in. I know that people want to focus on homework today, but remind me of your name again. Or tell you what, would you put your email in the chat for me? And I'll send you an email separately, and we'll have a chat together, and I can talk you through everything we do, because there's some really great systems in place.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually we are a regional lead on. I can show you the excellent EAL provision that we provide in schools. So children, we are really one of the best. I'll say it, we're one of the best schools across the city, really, for providing support for children who come in with other languages. Being so close to the University Hospital, it really is our bread and butter. We provide training to students at the University of Birmingham in their teacher training on how to effectively meet the needs of EAL pupils. And we've got some really great systems and structures for assessing and understanding the gaps in children's learning and understanding how that language builds up as they go through what appears to be a bit of a silent phase. But I can happily geek out and have a really great chat with you, maybe in person soon. So if you pop that email address in the website on the chat, I'll reach out to you afterwards.
Already I have sent you, and this time I'm in France, but next time I will be there.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Well, we can do it as a virtual chat. So if you're in France, that's no problem. We can have a meeting. Lovely.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then I've got WS. Who's this? I'm not sure. Or is that Zane's mum?
Yeah, it is. Sorry. I've sent you a message in the chat that I'd like a response to, please.
Oh, okay. I'll just, if I stop sharing, I've got a couple of people in the lobby as well. So let me just admit all of those, and then just waiting again. Sorry, the lobby. View the lobby, admit all. And then if we come to the chat, sorry, it's really difficult for me to see the chat alongside the same time as sharing it. So homework for year 6, you can. Okay, yeah, so the reason that we focus on the specific work that's set each week is because that's the bit that the teacher will follow up, and it might be targeted as being linked to the work that they're doing within class. And we're going to use those books throughout the year. So if he blitz it and flies through it now, he won't have the work to be doing later. What I would say is getting him onto Tiny Tales Rockstars would be brilliant. We also, I know that some parents, and there's been a question there about grammar schools as well. So we have access that is free for all free school meals children. So if your child's entitled to free school meals, then they can get free access to the grammar school portal side of Numbots. Sorry, I do apologise. Of Atom Learning. So that's a relationship that we've got with King Edward School, where they've said specifically for our school, all of our free school meals, children can have that for free. We don't provide more specific support in the grammar schools more generally. So if you're not free school meals and you'd like to access those resources, there are paid options. There's a number of books. I'm not vouching for any of these books, but if I hold it in front of me, there are a number of books that you can buy that can coach children through. There's a number of local tutors. There's a number of things like Kumon and people who will sort of do that as a business, really. But that's not, because it's quite a different skill in the grammar school to what we cover specifically within our curriculum. We don't do as much of that. In relation to kind of stretching your son on specifically in year 6, so he should be being given the harder work that he can be doing. So there's a couple of different levels of the books within there.
Yeah, he's got the stretch books, but
yes, brilliant.
He found that quite easy to do. So he's done the work that's been set on Atom Learning. I was just wondering, obviously, I understand in terms of where the class are, what they're working on at a specific time, hence the the homework that's sent home with the books. Is there any chance he can get additional homework set for him on Atom Learning?
I can have a chat with the teacher. The challenge always with this is our capacity to be setting up and managing and organising and setting additional homework for kind of all the different children there is a challenge. That's partly one of the reasons why on the website we give you a list of all the different learning that you can get there. So if you want to go away and find additional resources to provide further challenge, the resources, the kind of, what to cover. I can have a chat with Mr. Baines and check his capacity there. But what I don't want to do is kind of make promises for specific teachers when I know that really our focus is going to be what they're doing with the children when they're in class, and we want them to be prioritizing their time to have that as the highest quality possible learning experience. And then I can have a chat and I can see if there's anything additional.
Yeah, that's fine. And how do we get access to the grammar side of the portal?
The grammar school side, right? Yeah. So there was a letter sent out before the end of the year. Now I need to just check with them that they've refreshed it for the start of the year, but I'll send that out again. And then anyone else who's entitled, what you do is you go on and you put in the details. It bounces an email through to me, and I just say, here's some evidence that child's entitled to free school meals. If they're not entitled to free school meals, you can just go onto the website and click on and purchase it as a parent through that. Okay, we've got a few other questions. Right, I'm just going to notice within the chat as we go through. Please can you resend? So there's a year 2 login. So okay, I'll chase the year 2 login Sunday, and we'll make sure that we've got those. You can always grab the teachers at the end of the day as well to check on those specific questions. And we've got one about the deadlines for the homework. That's a really good question. Okay, so if your child is in Key Stage 1 and reception have 6 themes for 6 half terms. So really it's half term roughly the deadline is for doing the homework. We're not going to be really strict and really tight on that. Those things are really great things to do. That's okay, Nancy. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. If a child comes in after the theme's done and they've done that homework, we'll still celebrate them. It's amazing that they're giving that time and dedication to their learning. But roughly for Key Stage 1, if you think kind of the half term after we send you the sheet, so that gives you a good guide of when to get them in. It's difficult to give you a fixed deadline because it might be that year 2s, because they've got 5 themes across 6 half terms, it might be sort of 2 weeks after half term. But loosely, it's roughly 1 each half term. They've got a bit of time to catch up at the end of the year. So I'm sorry that I can't give. It was Poppy, wasn't it? More of a specific. Does that answer your question? I'm sorry I can't be more specific on that. Don't know. Okay. Yes. Okay. Lovely. Thank you. Okay. Right. We'll do any other questions? I've got someone who's down as Watermill Primary School and Victoria. If I come back to yourself.
I had a question just regarding Numbots. Is there a rough guide as where they should be at this point, like each term? How much progress they should be making?
That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. So I can have a look into if that's correlated with Numbots. If you want to have an idea of where your child should be more generally, if we go back to the website that we had open. So if I go on to I got that open? Where's that gone? I may have closed that tab. Just bear with me a second. I think I've closed the school website. Let me just open that up. Okay, and let's try and share that one now. Here we are. Okay, so can you see that now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. So when we go on to the class pages, what class is your child in?
Year 2.
Year 2, perfect. Okay, so when we come on to here, you can see the maths targets say. So what your child, so if they were working towards year 2, so maybe at the start of the year, these are skills that they'll be able to do. So they can kind of count in 1s and 2s and 5s and 10s. That's a great skill to be having when we're coming into year 2. And maybe a one-step problem. So that might be a problem like, or Tom's got 5 sweets, Sarah's got 7, how many altogether? And it's just, I need to work out that there's one calculation I need to do. And then you can see here, as we go through that expected standard. So it goes over 2 pages. And you can see as a child goes through the year, they're going to be able to compare numbers up to 100, and they will be able to specifically use these symbols as well. So we talk about being like crocodile mouths, the greater than and less than symbols that they're able to use. And that goes all the way through into space, shape and measure as well. And then there are some aspects of greater depth where they could be really challenging themselves and going a little bit deeper. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, so I don't know that there is a specific kind of mapping of how they should be doing on TTRS or Numbots to the year group expectation, but I know that it's intuitive, so it should be pitching the work to the level that they need.
Thank you.
Okay, lovely. And I think that okay, brilliant. Right, we'll make a little bit more. There's a question about feedback about homework, and this is really challenging. So the biggest challenge for schools when it comes to homework is logistically the workload of it. There is such a greater demand on teachers now in the depth of the quality of the lessons and the amount of planning that they put into it, and the time they spend going through the work and planning the interventions afterwards, that we sadly, because that's the thing we need to focus on, we don't have the capacity for them to be going through and reviewing in detail how children have done on all the different bits of homework. We will always celebrate the homework that the children have done, but actually the research behind what has an impact, so for instance, if you an optional piece of homework and you sent in a report or a diary of Rosa Parks, say, the teacher going through and putting red pen all over it, or actually that's going to be really demotivating for children. It's not particularly going to have any impact on future learning, because the next time they see it, they won't necessarily remember those skills. The thing that will make the difference is the teacher knowing within the lesson that they consistently miss out capital letters and full stops. So being alongside them in the next lesson to give that feedback. So that in the moment verbal feedback is much more effective than written feedback. It's something we've moved away from as much within our lessons. We only really do that detailed written feedback within our big longer writes. The rest of it we try to give so much more in the person and in the moment. So there's the amount of time it would take to be physically marking all those pieces of work and giving it back for actually what's likely to be very little impact, research has shown. It's not, we need to prioritize the teacher's time to be having the biggest impact on your children's learning. So I know that some people would quite like a sheet that comes back with lots of red pen over it, but the research has shown it really doesn't have that positive impact on the children. So I've got a couple of notes for people's login details. I will check that and I'll make sure at the end they go back. Right, I'm going to make a little bit more progress through the slides. I'm aware, gosh, we're getting through time. So we'll, if I have a click through, we'll go through last bits and then any other questions. So just to share with you the optional enrichment activities. So within there, you've got, have I got this open here? I've got the example. Okay. So there's a couple of written activities, a few practical activities, and some kind of visits and trips that you can do as well. We try to make it as fun and engaging as possible, but obviously if you want more ideas of what you can do, you've got that overview on the website. You can see there within the themes, so you've got the ideas of what they're learning so that you can tailor that and be a bit more responsive yourselves as well. Right, I think that is pretty much everything I need to go through in homework. So just a reminder, there is so much detail on our website. So please do check it out, and the online tools, if you're going to get your children to anything, do reading, if you want them to having some screen time, get them using TTRS or Numbots or similar, get them on the Atom Learning. It will have a really, really positive impact. Do we have any other questions? I can see from Poppy, with Key Stage 1 reading, you mentioned they'll get both pleasure books and phonics books until they finish the phonics. Will they be told when they're finished? So it will... I need to check specifically. So I know I'm being a little bit vague on that. The point at which we stopped sending the phonics books in year 2. So can I come back and clarify that on with you? Because I don't want to tell you something that's not bang on. So I'll make a note of that. And then maybe when we send out the recording, I'll send a bit of an FAQs that confirm that as well. So year 2 reading. Okay, right. And I'm sharing a window. So let's stop sharing there. Right, I appreciate that's been a whistle-stop tour, and I know that I always talk too quickly as well, so I apologise if I find lots of information at you. I am so grateful for your time and your support of the school. I hope that it's been useful. I know that it's a really difficult balance. We try to meet the needs of all parents, where some want lots and lots more, and some people really don't want their child to be having to do homework because they've got other things that are going on. We try to give a comprehensive offer that covers a range of different activities that children can do in a range of different forms. The last thing to add, which I presume because people on the webinar is a bit easier, but if people do struggle to access technology, then let us know, because I know sometimes we do rely on online systems. I think most families can access that, but if there are issues with that, just come and have a word with us and we can work out if there could be paper copies or similar. So, right. The children have a new login in each year. No, it should be the same login that carries on and rolls over. So if they were able to access a website last year, it should be the same details for this year. Okay. Thanks, Emma. Right, I think tentatively that we might be done. So the optional homework, that they do, they can just bring that in on paper and show us. And as I say, the teacher will give them lots of highest points and really celebrate it. So, but otherwise, thank you all so much for your time. I hope you found it useful. It'd be great to have a bit of feedback on if this format works, having it as a webinar so it's a bit more accessible within your day. Rather than having to kind of get everyone to come into school. Is that something that's been helpful? Just general kind of thumbs up or waves or call out if that's been a positive thing? Maybe?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, lovely. All right. Thank you. Okay, and if there's better ways that you feel that we could communicate, so this is a new way we're trying, let us know. We're happy to hear ideas. Thank you for the little round of applause. That was lovely then. And have a great day. Thank you all. I'll stop the recording there.
Thank you. This has been lovely. Bye-bye.